Namaste. My name is Manisha Singh, Assistant Professor in Department of Food and Biotechnology under Faculty of Agriculture and Veterinary Sciences in Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Today I am teaching you subject Food Safety and Quality Control for class DET FPT 6th semester. In today's session, we will discuss all about the pesticides residues. In previous sessions, we will discuss about the biological hazards, in which we study the what are the biological hazards and what are the causes of biological hazards in food. Okay, so in today's session, we will discuss only about the pesticide residues. In this, we will discuss what is pesticides, how they will come into the food, and what are their effects on the health. So let's begin with the topic. What is pesticides? Okay, so pesticides is basically any substance or a mixture of substance intended for preventing, destroy, and repelling or mitigating any pest. Okay, so pests include insects, plant pathogens, weeds, mollusks, birds, mammals, fish, nematodes, mostly the roundworms, microbes, and people that destroy the property, spread, or a vector for disease or cause any nuisance. Okay, so that was the these are the pests. Okay, so pesticides are often referred to according to the type of the pest they control and derived from a common source or production method. It may be chemical pesticides, biopesticides, antimicrobials, and pest control devices. So, first is chemical pesticides. Number one is organophosphate pesticides. These pesticides basically affect the nervous system by disrupting the enzyme that regulates the acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter. Most organophosphates are insecticides. However, they are usually are not persistent in the environment. For example, parathion, malathion, and methyl parathion. Okay, next is carbamate pesticides, which affect the nervous system by disrupting an enzyme that regulates acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter, and the enzyme which affects are very usually reversible, and there are several subgroups within the carbamates. For example, bandiocarb, carbyl, methomyl, and propoxur. Next is organochlorine insecticides, were commonly used in the past, but many have been removed from the market due to their health and environmental effects and their persistence. For example, DDT and chlordane. Next is pyrethroid pesticides and were developed as a synthetic version of the naturally occurring pesticide pyrethrin, which is found in chrysanthemums, and they have been modified to increase their stability in the environment. Some synthetic pyrethroids are toxic to the nervous system. Example is permethrin, resmethrin, and sumithrin. Then biopesticides. Pesticides derived from such natural materials as plants, animals, bacteria, and certain minerals. Number one is the microbial pesticides. It basically consists of a microorganism, for example, a bacterium, fungus, virus, or protozoan, as the active ingredient. For example, there are a fungi that control certain weeds and kill the specific insect. Next is plant incorporated protectants. PIPs are pesticidal and substances that plants produce from genetic material that has been added to the plant. Then biochemical pesticides are naturally occurring substances that control the pests by non-toxic mechanism. For example, insecticides, pheromones, and that interfere with mating, and various scented plant extracts that attract the insects, pests to traps. Then national trends in the amount and composition of pesticides used. For the year 2006, Malaysia experienced a 1% growth in pesticides usage, with increases in growth of 2% each for the chemical insecticides and fungicides compared the usage in 2005. The composition of the pesticide used in the 2006 are 68% herbicides and 20% insecticides and 8% fungicides and 4% others. And of these, class 3 and 4 make up the most number of registered products. Okay, so vegetables comprises about 15% of the daily food intake of the population, and consumers generally demand for better quality vegetables, and quality vegetable to them means healthy, succulent and fresh looking vegetables with no visible rashes or holes caused by the pests or the diseases. And the use of agrochemicals including pesticides has been founded to be the immediate and cheaper way to produce unblemished vegetables and increased farm productivity. This practice has unfortunately created numerous problems associated with the pesticide abuse, such as accidental poisoning to the men, upset of natural environment balance, and toxic residues that are hazardous to the health in the environment. Okay, so then what are the residues and why do they turn up in our food? So pesticides may be used in a variety of different ways during the production of food, and that is used by the farmers to control the growth of the weeds or prevent the crop damage by insects, rodents, and moles. And it is used on food crops after harvesting to prolong their storage life, and it is also used on animal farms to control the insect pests. When a crop is treated with a pesticide, a very small amount of the pesticide or its metabolites or degradation products can remain in the crop until after it is harvested, and this is known as the residue. Then residues can arise from the use on a crop of legally allowed pesticides according to the good agricultural practice. That means the leave smallest and acceptable amount of residue, and overuse of a pesticide or use too close to the harvest of a legally permitted pesticides, and illegal use of pesticide that is not approved for that crop, and incorrect use of pesticides after harvest to reduce the pest infestation in storage or in transit leads to the residues. Okay, then pesticide residues may be present in fresh or tinned fruits and vegetables, processed food and drink made from the crop, for example, juice, bread, or any other processed food or drink available in the market. Then fresh or processed animal products if the animal have been fed on the crop treated with the pesticide, because that crop has the pesticide residues and that was infested by the that animal, and that pesticide residues were stored in the fat of that animal. Okay, so occasionally residues may also result from the environmental or other indirect sources, for example residues of old pesticides such as DDT. So do processed foods have less pesticides than fresh foods? Yes. The reason is growers who have contracts with processors have often need to ensure that their foods are cosmetically perfect, and this allows them to omit some pesticide treatments, including some late season insecticide applications. Many processors responding to the consumer demand for food with minimal pesticide residues have contracts with the growers that specifically limit the pesticide application. Processing itself also often involves the washing, peeling, and cooking the food, steps that all tend to reduce the pesticide residues. Okay, so what about the organic food? When present residues in organic foods are likely to be at lower level than those in organic foods. Okay, so the common pesticide residue exceeding the MRL in Sarawak from 2000 to 2006, the organophosphorus pesticide has 70%, organochlorine pesticide is 15.3%, synthetic pyrethroid is 11.6%, in ethylene bis dithiocarbamates is 2.9%. Then what is the susceptible population? The most vulnerable population is pregnant women, infants, and the children. And children are much less able than the adults to detoxify the most pesticides because they are growing and developing rapidly, processes that are vulnerable to disruption by the toxic agents. Since children's body are smaller than the adults' bodies, they get greater doses of residues by consuming a given food than an adult would. Children also eat fewer foods and eat more of certain foods that tend to be relatively heavily contaminated with pesticides than the adults do. Then the risk assessment. For risk assessment, there is a hazard identification. The possible adverse health effects of the chemical are identified from toxicological studies. Then we do the hazard assessment and the toxic effects and characterization of the biological response in terms of the dose. That is, the dose response relationship are considered and acceptable levels of dietary intake are derived from that. Then we do the exposure assessment, and it is also referred to as the dietary intake estimate, and that is the dietary exposure of residues resulting from the consumption of food and drinking water containing the residues is estimated. Then the risk characterization, the estimated dietary intake is compared with the acceptable levels of dietary intake or dose that were derived as the part of the hazard assessment. And in simple terms, if the dietary intake is less than this dose, then the risk is acceptable. Okay. So then health effect of the pesticides. Number one is the birth defects. A study in Minnesota found significantly higher rates of birth defects in the children born to pesticides applicator and in regions of the state where chlorophenoxy, herbicides, and fungicides are widely used. In California, mothers living and working in agricultural area with high pesticide use had a higher risk for giving birth to the children with limb reduction defects. A study of pregnant women in Iowa and Michigan found that women exposed to multiple pesticides had an increased risk of giving birth to a child with cleft palate. Next is the neurological effects. Long-term exposure can result in reduced IQ and learning disability associated with the permanent brain damage. And a study in Mexico shows that the children living in an area with high levels of pesticide exposure had less stamina, poorer eye hand coordination, and poorer memory, and were less skilled in drawing figures. The risk of developing Parkinson's disease is 70% greater in those exposed to even low levels of pesticides. And there are also concerns that long-term exposures may increase the risk of dementia. So these are the neurological effects associated with the consumption of the pesticides or in contact with the pesticides. Next is the fertility. A number of pesticides, including the dibromochlorophene and 2,4-D, has been associated with impaired fertility in the males. Then how do you prevent and control this? So number one is the consumer's education. Choose foods frequently that have the low TI values. Choose foods with the highest TI values, such as peaches, less often. Eating these foods occasionally is unlikely to do much harm, but eating multiple servings in a short time probably should be avoided. Look for organically grown food and remove the peel. Many pesticide residues are on the outside of the fruit. And the removing the peel can dramatically lower the pesticide exposure associated with these foods. Choose the processed foods are often, especially those for which TI are substantially lower than for fresh varieties of the same food, such as the canned peaches. Then legislative approaches, that Pesticides Act 1974, which is implemented by the Pesticides Board that has the Department of Agriculture as its secretariat, is the main act that controls the pesticides. The Food Act 1983 and the Food Regulations 1985, which was also amended in 1995, control pesticides residues in food and are enforced by the Ministry of Health. Pesticides Rule 1976 will ensure that the pesticides imported, manufactured, and sold in the country are of acceptable quality, not causing unacceptable adverse effects on human health and the environment. Okay, so what is the monitoring residues? So Food Quality Control Unit and DOA collect fresh produce at farm gate selling points and send it for residue testing. If it exceeds the maximum residual limit, growers could be charged under Food Act and regulations. Then what are the standards for residues? So national standards are under the Food Regulations 1985 and international standards comes under the Codex Alimentarius. Then Malaysia continues to implement the good agricultural practice as an effort to manage all the hazards associated with agricultural production through such programs as the SALM, that is the Malaysian Farm Certification Scheme for Good Agricultural Practices, and SOM, that is Organic Certification Scheme. Okay, so non-legislative and other approaches are the research into the biopesticides by research institutions, implementation and promotion of integrated pest management, such as the use of barn owls to control rats in the paddy fields, research into the alternative pest control methods, introduction of better pesticide application technology, and promotion of alternative farming methods, including organic farming and hydroponics for the production of the vegetables. Okay. So from this session, question may be asked like, what is pesticides? And what is the prevention and control of the pesticide residues? What is residues? What are the chemical residues? So pesticide residues. Likewise, questions may be asked in your final exam. So prepare accordingly. Thank you so much for watching this session.